Hello YouTube, Male Cat Lady here. Today I am repairing my mouse wheel on my Corsair M95 gaming mouse. Um, the wheel had a broken peg on it. After I take this apart, you'll see that. And I decided, instead of like other videos I saw on YouTube, to use a donor mouse that I got off of Amazon that was a very, very inexpensive mouse. You can see it there sitting on the tools. The screwdriver sits at bit set, and the wheel is kind of sitting there on in the center there. Cheap, cheap, cheap mouse. I got it, and the clicking features did not work at all. I think I paid $10 for the mouse, if not maybe less than that, with even free Prime shipping. So decided, what a better way to repurpose this thing than to take it apart and reuse its mouse wheel and put it in my Corsair M95, since this mouse, Corsair M95, is no longer in production, and I don't think you can really find parts very easily for it. So I'm just disassembling it here to get inside to get to the mouse wheel part. There are other tutorials I saw on YouTube that are very similar to this as far as disassembling it. So uh, pretty simple to disassemble, not too many hidden screws. Like, there's probably about a total of 10 screws that I had to remove. Very pretty simple to get to all the screws. And I'd say the most difficult part was removing the I guess the plastic cover with the logo and stuff on it that your palm rests on, because that just kind of snaps on there. So there's nothing actually holding that on other than a couple screws. But that was probably the most difficult part right there, is that aspect. But other than that, pretty simple so far. Good opportunity to clean all the crap out of your mouse, especially if you're like me and have had this mouse for several years now. It's been my favorite mouse that I've owned. Very comfortable. I love the fact that there's a spot for your thumb to rest, so you don't actually have to worry about hitting any of the buttons like on the newer Scimitar mouse, where you have the whole left side of the mouse is all buttons, so you don't really have a place for your thumb to rest. But that's why I decided I need to fix this mouse, since I can't really get it again. They don't make it, and no one else makes anything very similar, and I just love having all the extra buttons on here so I can customize for different games and other functions if you wanted to, because your thumb just sitting there not doing a whole lot. So here I am, just removing rather the 4 screws that hold on this other plastic shroud, and that covers up everything in there, all the circuitry. Here's the peg that broke off on the old mouse wheel. A very heavy-duty mouse wheel, the original one. It's a metal mouse wheel with plastic pegs in there. Now, you'll see coming up too, a little difficult to get out. You just had to move just wiggle it and it'll eventually pop out of there. Not a big deal. Shouldn't even say it's that difficult, because it really wasn't. But yeah, so the mouse wheel's out. Then I'm replacing it with this metal mouse wheel with a lighter one. So here you can see the pegs missing on the metal Corsair one on the left. My new mouse wheel is just a light plastic clear. It's actually kind of nice too, because it glows a little bit too, because there is a blue LED below it. So the one problem I came into was the mouse wheel peg was too short to trigger the switch, which wasn't a big deal. I was able to just rebind the middle mouse button to the side buttons on here, and then the only thing I had to do was modify the actual housing here to fit the mouse wheel pegs, as they are a little bit thicker, a little heavier duty, so maybe it'll have less of a chance of breaking off in the future. And then pretty much just had to test it, make sure that the mouse wheel pegs cleared and spun pretty freely, and then reassemble in reverse order. This part was, I mean, it was a pretty easy project actually. I was kind of nervous at first because I didn't know how, you know, how intricate it would be to take it apart. But it was actually a pretty simple project to take this mouse apart and replace this mouse wheel. Take your time, obviously. Just make sure you find all the hidden screws if there is any when you're doing similar stuff like this. If you have a different type of mouse, but you know, most of the stuff is just a couple screws and then it just snaps together, just like the cover right here. Just snaps right back on. Pretty simple build though, and the new mouse wheel works really good. It no longer, you know, has any issues where it's a lot more stable now. The other old, when it was broken, it would just kind of move around there, preventing smooth scrolling on web pages and you know other things like that. So yeah, just had to reassemble it in reverse, put all the screws back. So having a little smaller screwdrivers and stuff like that for this is very helpful because a lot of these screws are a lot smaller. So not a big deal though. Pretty easy build to do, and yeah, really saved trying to modify it a different way where I've seen people use nails and something else to, you know, kind of make it work. But just taking a mouse wheel from an old donor mouse, an old broken mouse, was a very solid fix for me. I'm very happy with the idea I had. So thanks for watching my video. This is pretty much going to wrap it up as the mouse is almost together. And yeah, subscribe if you want to see more videos similar to this. Thanks.